Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis, and welcome back to my channel, E.D. Lewis Reviews. Before we get started, you know that drill. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to ring the bell so you'll get notifications for my latest videos. Words trip me up sometimes. Okay, so yes, I'm wearing my Halloween pajamas, which you've already seen. And I'm well aware it's November. Spooky season is over, but you know, it was very appropriate for me to wear these. I'm going to continue to wear them, you know, whenever I want to. And this is more of PJ weather anyway, since we're getting, you know, into the cool season. And some places it's already cold. But I thought it was very appropriate with today's book, or tonight's book, because it's nocturnal. And that is Trick or Treat, not the movie Trick or Treat. Let me move. I'm using lamp lighting this time to give atmosphere. I don't know if it's really working, but we'll see. A little wash up. But Trick or Treat by Richie Tankersley Cusick. I have such a hard time saying her name. I really like her as an author. And this is the fourth book of hers that I've read. I have a fifth book of hers. On my shelf. It's April Fool's, so maybe I'll read that, you know, before April. I don't know. If I get to it. Who knows? So, I'm a mood reader, or I've become one, and I'm, you know, it's weird that, you know, some of the other booktubers that I watch are either mood readers or have become mood readers, and around the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, so am I, because I'm finding it so hard to plan out, well, I'm going to read this, this, and this, and I'm like, am I done reading this list yet? Ooh, this looks good. Oh, this looks interesting. Let me read this. Yeah, so. And recently I did a post on Instagram. I know I'm off on a tangent, and I'll be off in a moment. Where I showed I had failed doing my TBR that I set from, you know, to go from Halloween of 2020 to Halloween 2021. I almost made it. I just didn't get 2 books read. But, you know, maybe I'll get them read, you know, in the near future. So, anyway. So, this is one of the books I read during October. It was one that I had debated reading, because I put up a post also on Instagram where I had 3 books. This being one, Autumn Crow being another, which I read first, and then and then Dr. Frankenstein's Daughters, which I have yet to review. And this one. Well, I read them all. I read them actually in that order that I just said, so, and a few others. So, I'm going to read the tag for you right here is trick or treat, candy is dandy, but murder is sweet. And I'm going to read the synopsis, then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. Okay, Martha knew there was something, Dress to Kill. Martha knew there was something evil about the house she was moving into. It was so cold and creepy. And it wasn't just the house that was giving her a weird feeling. Martha was sure someone was following her, watching her every move. Then the practical jokes began. The scarecrow with the carving knife in its head, the fire, and the phone calls. Trick or treat, Martha, you're dead. It was October, but these were no Halloween tricks. Someone would be coming home this year with more than just a bag of treats, and Martha was the prize. Trick or treat. Okay, so that gives a little bit of a synopsis instead of me writing my own. I will now plug in some details. So, like it said, Martha has moved into this house. It's in the middle of nowhere, basically. It's in the country. The house is very creepy. And it hasn't been lived in for like a year. And there's a little bit of a history. There's a history, something that happened in the house in particular almost a year earlier. It was actually on Halloween night. And like the back says, it's so cold and stuff, and it's really dark, and there's a lot of shadows and stuff, and it just kind of adds to the atmosphere. And then that first night that she is living there with her dad and his new wife, Sally, and her new stepbrother, Connor, who's just a little bit older than she is, there's this phone call, and Martha answers the phone, and there's this voice that, kind of pulls a prank, and she looks out the window and she sees this scarecrow with a knife in its head. And it's just kind of sets everything off, this very creepy thing, because, like it literally says, she does feel like she's being followed. There's this whole scene that happens in the school when the lights go out, and she feels like she's being stalked. She feels like there's somebody watching her from her closet, and there's somebody that's in her room. And there's this old cemetery that's way back in the woods behind the house. And it's just really creepy. She does make some friends quite quickly. These two kids that work at this hardware store, they're cousins, and they have a little bit older cousin who works at the school as a counselor, and well, he's not a counselor. He's a counselor, but he's also a teacher. He's Martha's advisor. His name is Greg. Well, he comes off a tad creepy with how close he is with the kids and stuff, and everything. And then there's Blake, who she meets at the hardware store, and Wynn, the other cousin of this family, and they're kind of like Blake's kind of like the star athlete of the school. He's kind of, a little bit of a big head, and he even comes off a tad creepy. This family just comes off creepy. And even a little bit Connor, Martha's stepbrother. So after just like a few nights or so in the house, her dad and her stepmom are going off on their honeymoon in Hawaii, and also her dad's also on an assignment in Hawaii. And so they're left in this house all by themselves, Connor and Martha, and that's when the stuff starts escalating. Because there's like that one phone call, and I don't remember if there's another phone call that happened before the creepiness, happens. And, it's just nuts. I actually started reading this, and then I saw that the Point Horror, I can't think of their name, Point Horror Book Club, and they're on Instagram, they were going to read this, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and they have discussions, after they finish the books that they're reading in the Point Horror books from the 80s and 90s. I've tuned into at least one of their discussions, and I can't remember which one it was. It was a while back, and I said on this one, I was like, ooh, I'm actually reading that. I might actually get to, tune in to your discussion, which was the day before Halloween. It was on the 30th. And I did, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Getting there, hearing the others' opinions and, kind of talking about the book. And of course, there's spoilers galore because we had all read the book. And there are some plot holes that don't exactly make sense. And there's even a few unanswered questions. The group had actually talked about that they heard, or it was at least being speculated, that maybe there was a sequel being planned, but it was never written. I'm pretty sure Richie Tankersley Cusick is still alive, and I'm sure she could probably still write a sequel to this book. I would like to see what happens next with Martha. I'm actually looking to see really quick if there's a thing about the author. Ooh, there is. Oh, this is the one that lives in Kansas City, Missouri. Don't know if she still does, though. Oh, but anyway, but I would like to read a sequel to this, so, you can always hope, because I'd like to know what happens to Martha, because, there was even some, questions of relationships between characters, so, I kept feeling a vibe, even since basically the very first chapter, that she and Connor, Martha and Connor, almost seem like they could end up together, step siblings and somehow ending up together, but there's a complete other love interest though in the book for Martha, and that's Blake. So it's the whole thing. It's a mystery. It's very gothic. It's got a little bit of romance. It's got the mystery. It's got the teen drama to it. Who is making these calls to this house, and, the whole history of the house, trying to gradually get there. I'm not going to spoil the history of the house and what happened there. It's just kind of this whole mystery of who's making these calls. Is there like some ghostly presence? What is the mystery of this house? Although that gets, of course, answered, sooner than, the rest of those questions. But it's just, and, how's this all going to end? Is Martha going to make it out of this? And some of it seems like she kind of psychs herself out. Excuse me, which seems, fairly common in a lot of these books where these characters, the main character psychs himself out. Kind of like in the previous book I read of hers, and that was The Lifeguard. I don't remember the name of the character offhand, but she also psyched herself out as well. So, anyway. I liked it better than The Lifeguard. I liked The Lifeguard, but I liked this one a little better. It wasn't quite as silly in place. I mean, it was silly in places, but I think it was a little more, maybe a little better executed. It still had some issues to it. And maybe there was a sequel originally going to be planned, or they were leaving open for a sequel. I don't know, but, do check it out. You can get this on Kindle. It has a different cover, just like The Lifeguard. And I think April Fool's is on there too, which I have not read yet. So you can get these in Kindle edition. So do check this one out. It's a great one to read for Halloween. Or if you're, even though Halloween's over, if you just want to read kind of a creepy teen novel from the 80s, dig it up. Also, if you're still kind of, wanting a little bit of spooky Halloweenness, check this book out. So, anyway, that's my review. I'll see you next time. My next video has already been filmed. I filmed it, actually the same night that I filmed my last one, but it's going to fall next week, the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So I'm going to say this now, a few weeks ahead of time. Have a happy Thanksgiving to everybody, because I didn't put it in my next. The video is going to be on there next. So I'll see you next time with another video, and stay safe, and I'll see you next time. So bye bye.